Thanks so much for your time. I am Pius Kojobaka. And looking at our stories, commercial banks have started enforcing a new directive from the Bank of Ghana on foreign currency withdrawals. The directive is coming from the revised charges and reporting requirements on foreign currency cash transactions, and which is, of course, coming from the central bank. We have more for you in this report.
A letter from the Bank of Ghana to commercial banks signed by Joy Business stated the following updates regarding foreign currency accounts. A charge of 5% shall be applied to all foreign currency cash withdrawals made from account balances not funded with physical deposits. The Bank of Ghana was, however, quick to add that withdrawals made from physically deposited foreign currency remain exempt from this charge, thereby ensuring continued access to previously deposited funds without incurring additional fees. The same letter also reminded the commercial banks that they are now required to submit a utilization report to the Bank of Ghana for each withdrawal of foreign currency cash not funded with physical cash deposits. It added that the report must clearly indicate the purchase and usage of withdrawn funds. On the importation of foreign currency, the Bank of Ghana stated that commercial banks intending to import foreign currency cash must state the purchase of the importation in their request. The letter to the banks stated that following the importation, banks are also requested to submit a utilization report to the Bank of Ghana detailing how the imported funds were used. It is not clear for now what might have influenced this directive from the Bank of Ghana and whether this is part of several actions the regulator has taken to ensure that all players abide by foreign exchange guidelines and regulations.
All right, so let's elevate the conversation better as we've been joined via Zoom by the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the Association of Ghana Industries, Chanam Apelu. Chanam, thank you so much for joining us here on Business Live. And I'm wondering whether you've received any text message from the commercial banks regarding this 5% withdrawal fee.
Not yet. Good evening to your cherished listeners. Yes, so we've taken notice of the information out regarding this particular directive. We do fully appreciate the central bank's desire to ensure that the forex market is properly streamlined so that we can promote the local currency. And so to that extent, we give them all the respect so that they can continue to do their work. We do, however, have some concerns that ought to be addressed, because you realize that most of our raw materials that we use in our manufacturing process have to be imported. In fact, most things that we use in the country have to be imported. What it means is that you necessarily need the US dollars, which has become the international denominator for foreign transactions. So in the process, you definitely need to deal with the banks, so that if you are asked to pay a 5% of monies that were transferred to you, probably from transactions or probably from goods and services that you've sold abroad, and you have to pay 5% in accessing that money to, say, pay for raw materials, then clearly that's a challenge, because that's an extra financial burden that will be on the business. So our view is that some of these regulations cannot be applied in wholesale. We have to isolate different issues and apply them as such. Because, as you know, Ghana is heavily a cash economy. Almost everything is cash driven. And so you typically see people who go to the bank to withdraw cash to do transactions. And that if some of the products are dollar denominated simply because we don't produce them here, and so they are at the condition of the dollar. Our view is that you cannot necessarily say that because I'm simply going to withdraw dollars that I've earned from foreign proceeds, for example, withdraw them and to pay for raw materials that I've genuinely procured in dollars because we don't produce them here. Because of that, I have to be punished by paying 5%. We don't believe that that's entirely okay for industrial growth. And our view is that the central bank should really take a look at this again and allow businesses to flourish without a lot of all of these regulations that we see almost on daily basis.
Chalam, am I to get the impression that you weren't consulted prior to this directive? Is that the case?
No, not that I'm aware of. We've not received any consultation. We were not called to no meeting to discuss this particular 5%. Look, 5% in real scheme of things is a lot. I mean, we deal with high volumes of business. We've got some of our members that are trading or doing business in billions of cedis and so on. And so if you're talking 5%, it's not as simple. It's a big deal. Our view is that if we were consulted, we would have said, look, there has to be a better way of having this handled, as opposed to just receiving text messages and seeing letters on social media and so on.
And do you fear this would have an impact on your operations?
Certainly. So that's the trust of my submission. What I'm saying is that if you've always, all the time we work with plans, right? And so you've got your budget, your products are out there, you're receiving proceeds from your product, and then you now have to pay 5% of the money that you genuinely earn simply because you are withdrawing a foreign currency to pay for raw materials that we do not produce here. And so your burden, you have an extra burden to pay that you never budgeted for. That's really our concern. Our concern is that in all of this policy direction and so on, the regulatory authorities must always consider the feelings of the Ghanaian industry. It's important that they put themselves in our shoes and see how burdensome all of these financial obligations are. Because otherwise, then on one hand, the government will be saying that they are really promoting private sector, which we trust them. On the other hand, their actions are distracting us from doing same. So we're happy to comply, as I always mention. We're happy to support the central bank of doing their work, but we're saying that they have to be very sensitive and know that in such a country, a very cashy economy like Ghana, where things happen in cash, you cannot use a letter, issue just a fiat, 5%, and so on, and then expect that you are going to change that culture. There has to be a way of, number one, promoting mass production of raw materials so that we don't need to even import raw materials. You have to promote your agriculture so that once we have the commercial farms, we have large production of raw materials. So once you begin to do some of these things, we will naturally adhere to buying everything locally. So we will never need a dollar. But here, like the case, 70% of everything that we consume, every raw material that we use, have to be imported from abroad. And so you always need a dollar. And so really, this is the thrust of our submission. And we are hoping that the central bank will have a second look at this and come back to us.
That's fine. What's going to be the strategy going forward?
Yeah, so we've got a very exciting working relation with the central bank, the governor and his team. I'm sure that we would have a conversation in our next regular meeting, breakfast meeting that we do have with them.
Chairman Apelu, thank you so much for making this time to speak to us here on Business Live. He is the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the Association of Ghana Industries. I'm grateful. Now, Associate Professor of Finance at Andrews University, William Pripra, is urging fiscal prudence and improved expenditure control to help Ghana hit a debt-to-GDP ratio of 60%. His comments follow a prediction by the International Monetary Fund that Ghana could reach a debt-to-GDP ratio of 60% by the end of 2025. Speaking to Joy Business, William Pripra called on government to strengthen its expenditure control measures to reach this projection.
There are history where we went above 100% debt to GDP. We came to 80%. I think currently we are below 50% based on Bank of Ghana's data. This projection of 60% in my view is good news. However, I see it as very fragile. We are improving all right, but we need to do more. In my perspective, the way that we have to sustain it, some of the points were mentioned in the IMF document. We must tighten our expenditure control. which is very, very important. When it comes to the expenditure control, specifically, our Financial Management Act, we must follow it religiously. And thirdly, our procurement issues, that is where we normally fall short, that normally bring the spillage. The fourth point that we may have to look out for is how we align our long-term debts and their interest rates is important. The fifth point is the energy sector debt. If it's not addressed, is going to take us off the 60% target. The sixth point I want to mention, which is very critical, is our exchange rate situation. If the cedi weakens, it means that the debt figure will go up. So both the monetary policy team and then the Ministry of Finance must work very hard to make sure that our cedi gains its strength. And recently we've seen it being depreciating a little bit, but they have to do whatever needs to be done to ensure that this is controlled. Because if the cedi weakens, the 60% figure will go above it. So in short, fiscal discipline is very key. These are some of the factors and conditions that I think that if we are not able to watch, may cause us to miss this target of 60%.
It is discounts galore at the third mini clinic of the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair happening now at Good Park inside the Accra Mall. Patrons are trooping in to take advantage of exciting offers on a wide range of products and services. My colleague James Ishen was at the first day of the third mini clinic and has filed this report.
We've been in the business for the past 5 years. We have provided security, we have provided support for people that are interested in protecting their home and their family. We believe that security is a basic necessity, and so everybody deserves it. So when you come to Doormaster, we have a wide range of products. We have smart doors, we have wooden finished doors, we have weather-friendly doors. Most times, people buy doors just for the aesthetics. But when you come to Doormaster, we have doors that serve every purpose. So if you're looking for something that will be exposed to direct sunlight and rain, Doormaster has you covered. And our range is just endless. At this point, here at the Habitat Fair, we are calling all homeowners, building contractors, masons, anybody in the built industry. If you are building up a building, if you are in the business of providing homes for people, you need to speak to Doormaster first.
We have residences within Cantonment, East Legon, Rage, Laboni, and we are moving to Chado now. We have Blossoms at Chado, and we are selling studios 1 and 2 beds at Chado for now. It is a big development. It is of 10 floors, and we have a unit starting at 65,000 USD. You can call us and ask of our early bird pricing, and then also a discounts and flexible payment plans available.
Safety and home solutions, we deal in security doors, internal doors, and also we design living room spaces, kitchens, and many more. We think about quality, and also we think about your safety. So we give you the highest security doors in the market. Currently, we have over 250 doors on display in our showroom, and here we came with just a few to advertise. However, if you visit our booth today as we start the Habitat Fair, we are getting up to a 15% discount.
So Ayuda means help, and yes, the app the Obianim yes app no, and yes, and so we render services to our clients and also create jobs for people who need our services. So Ayuda is categorized into two. We have the premium and the flex. The flex, you can just go on the app and just bargain with the artisan. Maybe you're a carpenter and I want you to come and make maybe a wardrobe for me, and the wardrobe is worth 4,000, and I can say, oh, okay, I will give you 25 or 2,500. So we just bargain.
So Special Homes Limited, currently we have Special Gardens, which was our first property we started, and now we have E-Towers, which is at East Legon. So Special Gardens is at Oyarefa, 2-minute drive from Pantan Junction. So we have townhomes and then condos. So we have 1 to 4 bedrooms, townhomes and condos.
We are dealers in smart home automation, electric fencing, CCTV installation, and also magnetic track lighting system, and also ceiling speakers, Bluetooth ceiling speakers. Okay, so we are here today at this Habitat Fair to display our products and to gain more customers for this company.
So Drive BBGH, what we do is we are electric vehicle dealership, and then we just don't sell the cars. We are a 3-way company. So we build charging infrastructures to help people who buy the cars to charge at their free will. Anywhere you go, you can charge the car. And also we have a maintenance center that takes care of all after-sales services and support. Yes, so it's not only about selling cars, we do all these 3 to make it comfortable for anyone who buys the car. And today we are here, we have the BYD Tang L, and we also have the BYD one up at the back there. So anyone who wants to come around should come around, and then we have more discussions and discounts for everyone.
Those were some exhibitors there, and the mini clinic continues tomorrow all through to Sunday. All right, you're still watching Business Live. We are back with more. Hello again. In a world of mobile money and digital banking, the Susu box savings tradition is still holding its ground. For many Ghanaians, it remains a trusted way to put money aside, 1 coin at a time. In today's Business Journal, Helen Nakai gives us a glimpse inside Ghana's Susu saving culture.
A piece of wood enclosed at all angles with glue, and sometimes with a small opening secured by a lock, has gained the trust and acceptance of many Ghanaians. This is a money box, popularly referred to as Susu box. In Ghana today, as much as 15% of adults rely on informal saving systems such as Susu boxes and Susu collectors. This is according to research published by the African Alternative Economics Network. Despite the rise of mobile money wallets, digital banks, and saving apps, millions of Ghanaians still trust a simple wooden box at home to keep their money safe. The question is, why?
They prefer
the Susu box to the bank because it's more convenient. Some banks can run off with your money, but with the Susu box, it's safe in your room.
They prefer Susu box in the same bank because
I prefer Susu box because banks make deductions, but with the Susu box, the money is all yours.
Susu box no dey. It's your own. It's with them.
The Susu box is yours. You can quickly use it for urgent needs. Unlike the bank where withdrawals take longer due to long processes.
While some remain skeptical about the banking space, others have limited financial literacy. This is only highlighting the urgent need for financial education. Meanwhile, others are embracing both formal and informal saving methods.
For me, I do the two. I save in the house and I save at the bank. But I think saving in the bank too is very good.
I save in my bank. Susu box depends on whoever wants to use it. I save in my bank and my momo and in my pockets. When I need money, urgent money, I can just withdraw from my bank. Susu box, I have to break it. There's a whole lot of work.
For many, the debate centers on security, convenience, and trust. A printing press manager at Malata Market, Nana Mills, describes the Susu method as a way to manage small amounts of cash while instilling the discipline of saving in both himself and his children.
I have Susu box. All my children are saving with the Susu box. The brain behind that is there are certain monies you can't take to the bank. I can't take 10 cedis to the bank. I can't take 5 cedis to the bank. I can't take 50 pesos to the bank. But when I have a leftover, let's say some coins after doing a purchase, and I come home and I don't have need for it, I put it in the box. 10 cedis, 5 cedis, 1 cedi. One day when I'm in need and I break my box, I'll be getting about 1,000 Ghana cedis. And it helps to teach the children how to save little by little.
The Susu culture, deeply rooted in Ghana's financial habits, remain resilient in the face of digital banking innovations. While formal systems offer security and accessibility, the Susu Box symbolizes trust, discipline, and a personal connection to saving. The coexistence of both systems highlights not just the diversity of Ghana's financial landscape, but also the importance of tailoring financial education and services to meet people where they are. For today's Business Journal, I am Helen Nakai Ai.
And you can get more stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Let's get some read. Banks commence 5% charge on some foreign currency cash withdrawals. We brought you that story here on Business Live. Also on that portal, BOG enforcement of FX measures is in the right direction, saying so IMF there. And of course, we have more stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I am grateful. Pius Kojo Baka is my name.